We'll be passing by, and they'll be wasting time, just waiting for new. And while they're chasing dogs, we'll be dancing in the dust, 'cause we're coming through. Whenever you need me, I'm behind. And I promise to take you out to the heights. When you feel you've had enough and you wasted all your love, I'll be here for you, here for you. When the dog has left his bone and you run away from home, I'll be here for you, here for you. Well, I'm here for you. And while they're on the ground, we'll be looking down, 'cause we found the truth. And the fire in our hearts will be blowing up the stars. Now we're coming through, yeah. Whenever you're feeling down inside, well, I promise to take you out to the heights. No, yeah, I'm here for you. No, and when you feel you've had enough and you wasted all your love, I'll be here for you. Well, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You, I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm here for you. You.
You're listening to the RMPodcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host, Sean Sebastian. And Keith Cheatham. We're coming to you live here on Tuesday night. Live. A very, very special Tuesday night. Tuesday. It's not just any Tuesday.
Yeah?
It is November 17th.
Okay.
And you know what that is?
It's your brother's birthday.
Actually, I was going to say the day Metal Gear Solid 3 came out in 2007.
Oh, wow.
That's a very important game in my life, and his birth just happened to mark that same exact day.
Wow.
Nice. I do want to say and give a very special shout out to my bro who's not watching. Happy birthday, Chip. Love you, bro.
Well,
I
guess,
told him.
guess what? Guess what?
You know, shameless
it's
plug.
It's not just your brother's birthday or the day Metal Gear Solid 3 came out. My niece, Kaylee's birthday is today.
Whoa.
Wow, trying to steal my brother's thunder.
Happy birthday to Kaylee as well. She's had a wonderful. She got a steak dinner.
Oh,
yeah, cookie cake.
How old is she?
She's 10 today.
10, and she's
wow.
How big was that steak?
That's her favorite.
Crazy.
That's her favorite.
That's Miranda's
dinner.
kid.
Yeah,
I can't believe she's 10 years old.
I know, it's crazy.
Elizabeth's going to be 13 in January.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
It's insane.
Wow.
She's hitting the teenage years.
Makes me feel old.
Yep.
God.
It's getting crazy, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Well, and Sawyer's getting big.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting big. We've seen him, and it's like when they start growing a personality,
Yes.
you're like, this is weird.
It's
Now
never.
they're-
It's usually not a good one either. Like when they
No.
first start getting, they'll grow
true.
into it. But
Yeah,
it starts to become a little human,
attitude.
and you're like, where's this coming from?
Mhm.
I used to just pick you up, throw you around, and you'd giggle. Now you actually can hold a conversation. No,
Brandon likes making children giggle.
Hey, my nieces and nephews are fun.
yeah.
That's only kids I like to make giggle.
It's like they're fun and they have lots of friends too.
Trick or
I like their
treat.
friends.
Halloween was great.
God almighty.
No, we got a great show packed for you, but I did want to throw out that announcement. We got both those birthday plugs in there.
Very nice.
I even did a shameless plug to my family and said, happy birthday, Chip. I'm going to give you a special shout out.
Yeah.
Hoping
still didn't watch.
we would get the love and
Yeah, I
support of
don't
my
see 'em on-
family.
I don't see him on here.
Who
so-
knows? Maybe they're part
Yeah.
of the few that always go back and watch it the day after.
Yes.
You know, we always have that.
I feel like more people like the day after.
They always
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Nobody stays up and watches us. They just watch us, which is fine. I mean, at least they're watching.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna say live. It's great. That's why
Yeah.
we're here. Because who knows? It's unscripted. But if you're not gonna watch it live, you can watch it taped and still get the unscripted
right.
craziness.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a great show for you. Got to start out with one major headline. I just got to get this off the top.
Get it out there.
You're
They
happy.
got him.
Yeah.
They got.
They got him.
Oh,
Of course, we're talking about
that just makes me think of the
Rick
running.
Moranis' suspect.
That makes me think of the Ghostbusters scene when
his
they're running out
assailant.
with the trap. He's like, "We got him!
Yeah.
We got
We
him!"
got him.
And he's got the trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always think of the when they got Saddam Hussein, and they come out to the presser, and it's this big, like, everybody's standing in the back.
Yeah.
We know what the announcement is.
Yeah.
The press releases come out,
Yeah.
and the general just comes up to the podium and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him." And it's just like, it's one of those things where that was the first
I'm gonna
thing I
be
thought of.
Honest with you, I think I saved all the newspapers from that.
Oh,
like
really?
I have all the newspapers from like 9/11 and the
Yes.
day I have the one from 2003
When
when
the
we
war
went to war
started?
to Iraq
Yeah.
Iraq. I've got the paper where they got Osama, and I'm pretty sure that I have the paper that has the picture of them toppling his statue
Yes.
and taking the head off of it and everything.
Mm.
And then, but I think it says
We got him.
I think
well,
so.
and it
I
was
have
a
to- I have
huge
to look for it
headline,
and find
and
it,
that's
yeah.
I kind of like. I love that we, of course, we're like they got him, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
it's a play on words, but it's same principle.
Right.
You know, it's supposed to be harkening back to that.
You know what's crazy though is not only did they get the guy that sucker punched Rick Moranis, he has a history of just randomly.
That's
sucker
what he does.
punching.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? What,
You know,
what sicko just walks around sucker
There
punching
is
people?
there's
Yep.
like a gang initiation
Yeah.
where that's one of the things they have you do is they have you just like run up behind somebody and just you're
Yeah.
supposed to try to knock them out
Yeah.
with one punch.
See, and
Well, he's
And-
getting a felony assault charge
because
so-
he was
Good.
over 65 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like it automatically gets ratcheted up
Yep.
to a
Yeah.
felony if he's over or considered a senior citizen.
Yep.
And you know, it's like, look, we were already happy to
Senior
see Rick
abuse.
Moranis come back.
Yeah.
Into
Like, man
the
comes out of
acting.
retirement and he gets
Yeah,
punched in the
gets
face.
knocked in the
I know.
face. It's
And
like,
you know the guy didn't know he was Rick Moranis.
No.
That's just a random
yeah.
thing, yeah.
But and that's the beauty of this, and the fact that they caught him is because Rick Moranis, not only did he take one for everybody else, this guy's now a felon. He's going to prison, and the fact is he's going to not knock anybody else out because of Rick Moranis,
Right.
And the attention he brought to
He's
him.
going to be like, "Honey, I shrunk the crime rate." putting them away.
Oh, that was fantastic. That
no,
was
it
great.
I
wasn't.
liked it.
Yeah,
I
don't
liked
blow
it.
smoke up my butt. That was
No,
nice.
that was
It was
beautiful.
That was like a dad joke.
That was-
Yeah,
I
I
know.
know. It was a perfect dad
It
joke.
did.
Oh,
I was not expecting that at all.
so good.
That should have been our headline right there.
Honey,
All
I
right.
smoked the crack.
Well, we jumped right into the headlines, but we also have,
Well,
yes.
just that little.
Just that
little
because,
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's not much more we can say than we're just happy that they caught him, you know?
yeah.
But we also do have a new movie review
We
to
do.
get to. Keith, why don't you want to set that up?
Yeah. Here's my review of Love and Monsters.
Don't do
He
that.
hates when
I
I-
can't.
He hates when I do
I
that.
can't get to it quick enough. All right.
Okay, I'll set it up. If you enjoy,
I was ready to roll now.
Well, just go ahead and roll it.
All right, here it is.
What do you get when you take a quirky social pariah with low self-esteem, plop him into an apocalypse, chasing after a love interest while he fights off monsters, learns life lessons, and meets offbeat friends with loads of comedy along the way? If you answered Zombieland, you aren't wrong. But apocalyptic feel-good comedies, romantic or otherwise, have come and gone since Zombieland, and very few have made names for themselves. Despite 2020 already being apocalyptic enough for us all, we've been treated this year to the highly touted Love and Monsters, a feel-good comedy that takes place, you guessed it, in an apocalypse. Though this time around, instead of zombies, we have giant monsters created by nuclear radiation. If the premise sounds off the walls, it is, but not nearly as off the walls as I was hoping for. Starring Dylan O'Brien as Joel, a survivor of the recent monster apocalypse, Joel lives in one of many underground colonies, small communities of survivors hiding from the monsters who have claimed the Earth. Joel is a bit of an outcast, awkward, and a hopeless romantic, head over heels for his girlfriend Amy, played by Jessica Henwick, whom he has not seen in 7 years. Amy and Joel were separated during the outbreak, and Amy now runs a colony 85 miles away from Joel's. A short trip in the normal world, a death sentence in the world Joel now lives in on film. Fed up with his life in his own colony and desperate to no longer be alone and see Amy again, Joel works up the resolve to set out and make the 7-day trip to Amy's colony, despite the low odds of survival. Along the way, Joel gains a canine companion named Boy, meets other survivors, and learns life lessons, how to survive, and perhaps even a way forward for humanity. Love and Monsters is very well made. Its characters, humor, and story are creative, endearing, and compelling. You do care about Joel and want to see him succeed and reunite with Amy. And fortunately, the film, while setting up cliches, does not fall into them, offering a few turns and plot that, while not entirely unpredictable, are done in different enough ways to be satisfying. I found myself laughing often and on the edge of my seat quite a few times too. What Love and Monsters doesn't do, however, is offer its viewers enough meat. Done well, the film leaves you tantalized but not fully satisfied. I wanted more. Characters come and go and are interesting enough, but you never get enough development to truly be invested in anyone other than Joel and Amy. This isn't a terrible thing, as they are the main characters, but developing supporting cast goes a long way towards heightening the stakes. In fact, the most anxiety and fear I felt in the film came during a tense scene between Joel, a giant centipede, and Joel's dog, Boy, as I sat horrified of whether or not Boy would survive. This scene was well done and compelling because the film spends ample time developing Joel and Boy's relationship. I wanted this same feeling between Joel and all of the cast. Love and Monsters also feels a little too much like the films that tread this path before. While done very well, certain jokes and scenes don't land as well as others because they felt cliched and done before rather than homages to films of the same genre. This doesn't mean Love and Monsters isn't funny or heartwarming, but it doesn't have the same emotional depth as films like Warm Bodies, which could be hilarious and still move one to tears. Even when Love and Monsters comes close to an especially poignant moment, such as a scene involving flying jellyfish, the emotion is cut a little too short, again leaving me wanting more rather than letting the scene simmer and the emotion set in. Love and Monsters is definitely worth your time and will make you laugh and smile while warming your heart. It may even leave you biting your nails a time or two, but it will also leave you a bit unfulfilled. Not because it is bad or poorly done, but because it has so much potential but never quite seals the deal. Though with the hint of a sequel, perhaps Love and Monsters will be able to fill that void with another outing. I know I'll gladly watch a second. I give Love and Monsters 3 out of 4 stars.
3 out of 4 stars.
I concur.
Yeah,
That's
3.
right.
Tres.
Tres, not cuatro, just tres.
It was good. It was. I liked it. I just felt like it could have given me more. That was my biggest gripe, was that it was well done,
Need more
but I
cowbell.
wanted more from it. Yeah, I wanted more emotion. Like, the emotional scenes were good, but I felt like they ended too soon and never really let the emotion sink in. The characters were fine, but again, like, they didn't. Just when you're getting interested in the characters, they either go away, which wasn't necessarily bad, or kind of just don't have any more development. And I was like, I wanted more. Like, the most development really got from the movie was the relationship between the main character and the dog,
Right.
which was really well done.
Yeah.
I mentioned in the review that was the one scene that had me on the edge of a seat, where, like, you don't know what's about to happen to the dog when they're fighting this giant centipede. And I was like, oh God, the dog's going to die. And I was terrified. And I never felt that same fear for anyone else in the movie.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Agreed.
Yep.
Sean, what about you? How, you give it 3 out of 4?
I gave it 3 as well. I actually thought you guys were going to come in lower than me. I
Really?
felt like I liked it more than you guys might have liked it, just because it did kind of play on some other films that we've seen in a lot of ways. But I did think it had enough to make it stand on its own and be unique.
Yeah.
I agree with you about the dog, but the one thing that kind of threw me, which I don't know why, but you could kind of see it coming, but I liked the idea of him trekking all this way to finally get to the woman that he loves, and then
Yes.
her having another interest.
Yes.
And it kind of like, I was just like, damn, that's life.
That is.
You work so hard sometimes for something that you want so bad, and then when you finally get there, it's either not for you, or someone else has already got it, like a PS5, or there's
More on that
it's just-
later.
it's an everyday life kind of lesson.
I like the
liked
way
it.
they did that, because I kind of felt like he was going to get there, and like there was like I kind of knew. I was like, it seemed predictable to me that it's like he's not going to get there and just immediately have a happy
Right,
ever after.
right, yeah.
She's going to be involved with someone else or something.
That's what I was thinking.
But the way it played out, like while similar, was still different enough that I was like, okay, they didn't just.
Well,
it wasn't
I was
just
gonna
the
say
straight
I
out,
loved because
yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking there's no way. First of all, I love that they had communication on the radios.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it showcased like it wasn't. It could have been even more desperation. Like, I've not heard her voice in 7 years, and
Yeah.
she's the one thing I'm going after. And then it would have
Yeah.
made more tragic when he gets there.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have communication, you can tell there's still interest on both their parts. But then the whole reason he gets there and certain things don't work out is it's like, okay, her aspirations are much like everybody else in this world, which is, can we find a safer, better haven and place to grow? And I thought, like you said, Keith, I think that was a better twist that we don't really see in apocalyptic films. We typically do have the very, but it's for, I mean, even I kind of like it now. I don't want to give a twist away, but one of the characters at the end of the film who's pivotal is just like, there's no greater thing to go after than love.
Yeah.
And you find out real quick. I don't want to spoil it. I don't wanna spoil it.
Don't.
But the fact is I love how they kind of cater to playing on that, because there are so many similarities to Zombieland. You talked about Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
And the very fact that, there's a lot of humor that's taken from those movies, and there's also dramatic moments that are done better in those movies, I think, than in this one. But overall, as far as it having that different flavor than a lot of those films, I thought it was fantastic.
Yep.
I thought it was great in the sense that it kept me wondering and guessing what was going to happen next in something that seemed so predictable.
Yeah.
When he meets Mavis.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
the
thought
robot,
I was
yeah.
kind of taken aback by that. I was like, "Where's this coming from?"
Well, and I like how they set that up too, though, because I mean, he mentions like at the very they have the broken Mavis
Yeah,
at his compound where he's at his community, and then for them to finally like reintroduce it later on, I thought I liked it. It was well done, but I wasn't expecting it, and it was little moments like that that gave it its own flair and made it different from those other movies.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted more of. It wasn't that the movie did anything wrong or bad. The things that it did really well, I wanted to see more of.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
And there's hints
Yes.
at the end about possible sequels, and they've mentioned maybe making a sequel. And I think if they go in that direction and give it room to breathe more and be its own thing, I think a sequel could be amazing.
I think they definitely need to listen to your review and then make a sequel and get those things right.
Well,
The scene with
I
him
agree.
and Mavis on the couch, like, Yeah, that was gonna get me, you know.
Yes,
But
I
then, like
agree.
you said, it just kind of it stops.
And
It ends real
again,
short, yeah.
it ends real short. The song of choice is a little too cliche for me. But again, I liked that the monsters part of this film, which are obviously you see the trailer, it's this quirky aspect. But overall, they play a much bigger role in this world than just being something that's out to get them.
Yes.
And I actually appreciated that they kind of added that caveat rather than just.
Well, it creates a type of realism too, because
Yes.
I mean, because all of these monsters are basically just mutated
From nature,
They're
yeah.
mutated
Frogs and
creatures.
bugs
So
and-
when you look at the creatures we have now, like not all of them are hostile. So it makes sense that the way the story plays out, that even when they're mutated, not all of them are going to be these things that are just out to devour you. So I did like that it wasn't just okay, we're in this apocalypse where everything's going to kill you. There is shades of gray, and I really want to see kind of like more of how this plays out. Hopefully, like they said, with a sequel to see how like that leads into that.
Agreed. And that's overall to me the story of a successful film is if you get to the end and you're like, okay, that was good. One, and then two, it's like I kind of want to see more.
Well,
And it didn't leave me on such a I don't want to say. I mean, it's 3 out of 4. It's not 3.5 or 4 stars. And I think part of that was again some of the cliches, but also I needed more to pull me in to be like, no, I have to see more. And that was the only thing is I wasn't left feeling like, oh, this is an absolute. But I'd be interested to see where they go.
If they could have just let the emotional scenes just linger just a little bit longer, I would have been willing to give it that 3.5. But the fact that they so often it cut short, especially when Sean mentioned this, the budget of this film was only $30 million.
I was getting ready to Google
Holy
it.
crap!
Yeah, I was getting ready to Google that.
Oh my
Well, he
gosh.
mentioned how cheap it was. It was only
Yeah.
$30 million. And you look at the visuals, especially
The visual effects of this
especially
movie are
the
phenomenal.
The Mavis
Insane.
scene
Yeah.
with the flying jellyfish, like the scene that almost got me. The visuals are a part of that.
They're
When
fantastic,
I see
yes.
the night scene with these things like gliding through the air and then the music playing in the background, I'm like, oh man, this is really like I'm feeling
That
this.
tells
And then it
me-
cuts short, and I'm like, oh,
This has to be a passion project.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
for the individuals who made this, the writers, like this has to be a passion project to go out. I mean, we've seen this kind of success with Blumhouse and their $10 million budgets that bring back like 100, 200 million.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me angry because I feel like this is one of those movies that it would be like a Warm Bodies, where if it came out in theaters and theaters were
had it been in
thriving,
theaters. Wow.
I think it could've, yeah.
I think this would have been around a time that could have come out. And granted, it probably would have come out earlier in the year because you wouldn't be up against No Time to Die or Wonder Woman and all
Right.
that. But had everything gone normal this year, I think it would have been like one of those unsung heroes, and it would have been a huge hit at the box office.
well, I mean, and you
I'm
think,
just
think about
surprised.
it's
That's
such
amazing.
a small budget. To look so good,
Yeah.
and you have recent films that look like
You,
garbage.
Find how much it's
Yeah,
grossed
that's
on
true.
streaming is what I'd be curious to see.
Oh, it said it's already grossed 1 million,
100 million,
100 million.
Wow,
So it's made
yeah.
its
which is great.
Yeah.
Considering too, that's gotta come in terms of like marketing too. They can't, 30. Gosh, I just burped.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only place I've
choking
ever
me
seen
up.
the movie advertised is on Facebook. That's how I
Right.
heard about it. I haven't seen an advertisement for it on television or on any other.
Yeah, it's kind of been just social media.
It's just really on social media is where I saw it.
And I'd be interested to see if the 30 million is just the production budget or that includes like the social media or
and it might just be the production budget,
which is
but
still
even still,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
still amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people forget to include that in bigger movies as well. And it's like it's No Time to Die is not just $200 million. It's like 400 or 500 million when you get done with marketing.
Yeah.
But all in all, I just that blows me away that this was $30 million.
Yeah, I was trying
There's no way.
to, for comparison, look up The Witch's budget, but I can't find it anywhere. So apparently they're so so embarrassed by it that they don't have it out anywhere. Is what I'm assuming.
Well, we all kind of trash the
Yeah.
visuals there.
but also by comparison, I
Special
saw
effects
that,
so bad they have to apologize for it.
or hide their budget. Yeah.
But I also saw that it's only ranked to, which granted, it's streaming on HBO Max, so
Right.
it's
Depending on the viewer,
because
the
it's only gotten around
subscribers.
10 million, but I don't know how they gauge that being.
See, and that's kind of the weird thing about these, even Love and Monsters. It's like, how do you gauge like a strictly online only? I mean, I
Love
guess
and
you
Monsters
can.
is rental only. Like it's
True.
not available free for streaming, so
Yeah.
that means they've at least got.
I forgot that we got screeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that means that they've at least gotten $100 million worth of rentals, which is still impressive.
That
Yeah.
is impressive. And that's the thing too, is it's kind of like, it's a family film. It's not something that is, I would say, it's not.
Yeah.
It's something that I think the family could watch if you have teenagers.
Yeah, definitely.
And it would
13,
not.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to
It's
turn
got some
off.
language and stuff, but it's
pretty tame.
Yeah.
But the other thing that amazes me is that I'm kind of like, every time I see these that are successes, it's like, man, just give me $30 million.
Yeah.
Now I want to know
$5
what to
million.
do. Heck yeah,
Something,
$5 million. I could do, man, the things I could do.
I know it.
And it's like, what else are you looking up, Keith?
I really want to know what the budget for The Witches was, but
Wow.
I cannot find it. So
Well, the way we need to put it is simply, how in the world do we get away with some of the biggest budget movies that we have? Hell, Batman v Superman, Justice League with the
Batman
mustache.
v Superman.
Yeah.
Look, yeah.
But the
Justice
point
League.
is it's like
those
we have,
are $150 million budget movies
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah,
I'm
200
telling you, in this
million.
movie, the worm, the underground worm,
Ah.
when it comes out of the and
he
he throws the grenade,
Yes.
that slow-mo scene right there of that thing exploding was literally like I paused it.
It was
because
awesome.
I was watching it in 4K, but I paused
Yeah.
it just to look, and I mean, it is so incredibly
Yeah.
detailed
Yep.
that it's just I just couldn't believe it. I'm
It's
like, how do they
amazing that-
make
yeah.
that? Yeah, I just don't get it.
Well, and I think the other thing is we've seen even good movies or decent movies that have amazing special effects, but they lack the heart and
Right.
the substance. And
Yeah.
even us complaining about wanting those slower moments, it's not that this movie doesn't have them. This movie has plenty of great moments.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part of the movie for me in terms of a heart-to-heart was him on the radio talking back to his old crew.
Yes, that
And
was really well
realizing on the map they gave him these messages they wrote him, and he had not seen it till this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Because they all kind of
that got me.
Again, not to give too much away, but they all kind of give him crap
Yeah.
in the beginning. They kind of pick with him and give him crap, and it's one of the reasons that he kind of wants to leave is because he doesn't feel like he fits in well.
Yeah.
But then to come to find out that they really miss him and that they
They loved him, yeah,
they
yeah.
loved
Yeah.
him. He was part of their family.
Yeah.
And that is a good moment in the film.
And it's like, so this movie doesn't lack that. It's just for a movie to be $30 million, amazing special effects, tons of heart. Absolutely, it's worth checking out, and it's far better than a lot of the other crap that's $200-300 million that you'll get that doesn't have any heart or anything.
They've released new images of Superman and Darkseid from the Zack Snyder Justice
Oh, I
League.
know.
Okay,
Zack
so
Snyder
that-
cuts coming.
He's
cut.
got those
coming.
special effects. It's gonna be full on,
Oh, I
beautiful.
know.
I'm sure.
Trust
But
me.
you know, he spent $70 million more dollars on
Yeah.
that movie.
Stupid.
And I guarantee you, it's still not going to look as good as this freaking out of nowhere
we know
Love
it's
and
not
Monsters
gonna.
movie.
It's not gonna feel as good.
Oh no!
There's no way. We just know Zack Snyder doesn't have that kind of feeling.
All
in his
I know
body.
from everything he's announced and all the money he's spent is that it's going to be a bloated mess. There's no way he could pack that much crap into
Yeah.
even 4 hours. I know it's going to be 4 hours long.
4 hours.
Yeah. It's
know,
it's in
gonna
two
be
parts.
crazy.
It's in 2 parts. Yeah, two 2-hour
film,
parts.
two
But
films.
I'm like, even with two 2-hour parts, the amount of characters and story elements that he keeps filming and adding, I'm like,
I want to know after this one comes out the total amount of the entire Justice League debacle from when it was originally released to now, and I just want to know how many hungry kids could we have fed on a
gotta do the
budget
Matt
the
Damon.
size-
How much water?
How
How
much
much water
water?
could we give kids in Africa?
That's right.
the
Yeah.
Matt Damon scale.
That's right.
The Matt Damon
We
scale.
still have not come up with that. We've talked about this for 4 years.
We really do need to do
We
that.
need
wanna
to
do that,
look.
yeah.
We gotta
We gotta
start.
hash that out.
We gotta start with science, guys. We gotta get real with our science.
Want to hash it out so we'd be like, we could have given this much
This
water
many
to
bottles of
Africa,
water.
yeah. For this piece of crap. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna start doing.
What started that? Mission to Mars?
It was
Mission to Mars. What
Mission
was it
to
called? The Martian. The
Martian.
Martian. Yeah, yeah. I was like, what? There's so many Mars movies.
Mars
you
needs
know?
moms. That's
I
what
almost
started
said
it.
Mars Attacks. Is what I almost said.
Mars Attacks.
If
is a better
Matt,
movie
then
than
Matt
The
Damon
Martian.
had been in that movie,
It would've been better.
Wow.
It would have been much better.
Yeah.
He would have learned a thing or two.
Yeah. I love that movie. Such a good movie.
All right, guys. I think we're ready to move on to our headlines.
Yeah.
So let's just roll that beautiful, beautiful open. Let's get to it. Y'all love that. Kind of like
Sometimes
sometimes when
Yeah, I
it
do
plays in the
love
right spot.
when you're on it, when you're ready,
When I'm ready and I actually have it, on cue.
Well, we already discussed
Rick
good old
Moranis.
Rick.
We
you know,
did.
they got him. But what else we got? You know.
We got a ton of good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Well,
one.
I don't think we should talk about any of it. We should just cancel
We
it
should
all.
just cancel
it.
Funny you say
Cancel it all.
Yep.
Why would you want to cancel the news, Keith?
Well, because it offends
It's not news
me.
we like.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're talking about cancel culture?
Exactly.
What? No, that's not real. That's just something right-leaning people make up.
On Parler.
I don't like what he said, so he shouldn't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Sadly,
That's
I mean,
exactly
Johnny
this
Depp
is
got canceled, and he didn't.
Yeah,
Even,
yeah.
he was proven
I-
innocent.
and I'll be honest with you, it kind of I was at work, so I didn't get real mad.
Yeah.
but I was a little pissed. I saw a Pantene commercial.
Yeah.
Freaking Amber Heard was up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what her ending line was?
What?
Because you're worth it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
thought
wanted
you
to be
were
like,
gonna say,
oh.
believe all women.
Here's the best thing about Amber Heard is she's now come out and said that all the people who are creating petitions online to get her removed are being paid to do so. It's not because people are mad at her and believe Johnny
Not
Depp.
at all,
It's
no.
because they're being paid to say horrible things about her.
Look, if
like-
anybody believes that, then we know
I want to know who
the
has
election was a
I'm
fraud.
going to be honest. I have trouble saying bad things about her just because of
She is nice to
just
look
because of how she looks.
Yep.
And then if that's just me being an honest man. But her character and her personality, trash it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Garbage.
exactly.
I mean, look,
She's a
there's
piece of crap human being.
the
She just looks amazing. She doesn't look like
I mean,
crap.
that just tells you it's like good-looking people
Well,
can be
well,
absolutely
you know,
trash.
at. Satan's
You know?
going to tempt you. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
The fruit looked good too. Forbidden fruit.
That low-hanging fruit, man. I'm telling you.
Low hanging fruit.
So what are we canceling now? I mean,
Yeah.
I know we
Okay,
got
so we-
Vince Vaughn,
look,
Gina Carano.
I was going to
mean,
say, the reason I joke around about the cancel culture continues is because everybody who denies that it's a thing obviously are the ones who are calling for it.
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
it's like the
yeah.
fact of the matter is yeah. So the latest person with a target on their back is Gina Carano, who is one of the stars in The Mandalorian. I have committed a great sin and not finished either season of The Mandalorian. I've only
Okay.
seen one episode.
Well, I mean, season
So
2
I
is
ha-
still ongoing. so-
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they. Oh,
They
they
don't-
don't. They
it's only
don't drop
episode
it all
3.
at once.
Yeah, they're only on the
Yeah,
third
they do it
episode.
every Friday.
Okay. So I'll make that confession right here. I have not even seen her character yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't
Yeah,
even
she
know.
doesn't come into play till later in season 1. So.
But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is apparently she is like an MMA fighter. So
She was
has-
a former.
yeah, she was former.
She was like a former MMA fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like obviously beastly strong.
She is-
had a huge like fan support
Yeah.
for being in this role and just thinking she.
Oh,
was,
everybody loved
loves
the
her.
fact that she was in
Yeah.
the role until she started saying some comments that were a little right-leaning, and all of a sudden it was like, get rid of her. I can't believe she's saying these things.
Yeah.
And she hasn't said anything that's honestly
No.
offensive or
Really,
wrong.
I think what started it was about the election process.
Yes.
She tweeted some things about how they need to, if there seems to be irregularities with some of these votes, then they should go back and recount
Yeah,
them.
get rid of
It's
the fraud.
Pretty innocent stuff. And everybody, whether you're left or right or in the middle or whatever, you should want the
to make sure
the
there's not
election
fraud,
process to be foolproof. You should make it, accurate.
Yeah.
And that's something that everybody should want.
Trying to pull up the
So-
tweet now, and I'll read it verbatim. 'Cause,
Yeah, it's
not
on
at
here.
all. Anybody who she just said we need to clean up the election process so we are not left feeling the way we do today. Put laws in place that protect us against voter fraud. Investigate every state. Film the counting. Flush out the fake votes. Require ID. That'll be a big one.
That's a
for
big
the
one.
lefty. Make voter fraud end in 2020. Fix the system.
Well,
So,
even
and
the
now
fake
granted-
votes line, because everybody's saying every vote should count.
Yeah.
There are no fake votes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if a dead person votes, that's a fake vote.
Mm-hmm.
If you're here illegally and you're not a citizen, you don't deserve the
Well,
right
hell,
to
if
vote.
if you've moved states and you
exactly.
voted in two different
Right.
counties
That's
in
a,
the same
that's
state.
a fraudulent vote. Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, there should be ID. In Kentucky, you have to have ID to vote.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous that people are like, oh, that's you. And it's like, why would you not want to make sure that the person voting is legally allowed to vote and actually who they say they are?
Again, they say it's voter suppression,
Yeah, it's not voter
but
suppression.
it's not voter. The funny thing is this whole thing flipped, and I don't want to get onto the election.
No,
right
no,
now.
no,
I
no,
don't,
no, no,
because
no.
this
But
is
that- I
not
was
really
just pointing out
right.
that's
This
what
is not
started it.
about Gina Carano's election leanings, one or the other. The fact is yeah, you could take that any way she says it.
Yeah.
And if you're a sane person, it's reasonable.
Yes.
Because obviously, it doesn't matter whose side won. You would hope that every vote does count that's legal,
Yeah.
and every vote that is, farce is thrown out. That's just common sense. But at the end of the day, because here's the thing, I don't think there's been one person, especially nowadays. What are we, almost 3 weeks past the election now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you think about it, most people have kind of come to terms that regardless of the legal battle that Trump could possibly win, which is very slim, he's not going to win the White House. So even if you're still fighting for there to be, the strike down of election fraud or suppression or voter fraud or suppression, then you got to kind of be on the same, leanings of, okay, this is just something a sane person and a commonsensical perspective, because ultimately you're not going to win if these votes are thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just making things fair, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with having a fair election.
I mean, the only people that don't like a fair election are the people who
the
cheat.
cheaters. I mean, that's ultimately what you have to assume is why would you not want, either you're afraid to lose because you did cheat, or you don't want to hear that it could be reversed, but the fact is it's not going to be.
No.
And at the end of the day, I just think she wasn't just getting flack for that. That was kind of a targeted after she had already made apparently some transphobic tweets.
Yes, yeah.
And she had she made some jokes about
since
gender.
August going on, Twitter had updated a thing where you could put how you identify in like the header or whatever, and she had put something goofy in there, like some just gibberish word. To be funny, and they said because she put that gibberish word in there being humorous, she wasn't taking it seriously, and that was offensive to people who identify differently as neither male or female. And then she also posted a story about this German Nazi who actually he fell in love with a Jewish woman and changed and denounced the Nazi way to marry her, and they got on her for that and said, well, how dare you? He was a Nazi. And it's like her point is that he changed for love. That's kind of a remarkable story, but they said that because she was praising a Nazi.
And therein lies.
Coming from the same group of people that don't even believe the Holocaust happened. I mean, it's coming from, a group of people that don't support.
They're denying.
Yeah, exactly. They deny
But it is funny you bring that up, because it's like that underscores the very point is how can you have such vitriolic hate towards somebody and then yet at the same time expect them to change because of that hatred.
Yeah.
And I think that's
she made it
why,
even in response, because she got in back in August she had made this response to somebody who were telling her that she needed to listen to these people because they were trying to educate her. And she said, in my experience, screaming at someone that they are a racist when they are indeed not a racist, and any post and or research you do will show you those exact facts, then I'm sorry, these people are not educators. They are cowards and bullies. And I agree with that 100%. But they flipped on her for that. And it's like, she's not saying anything illogical.
She's defending her perspective and her point of view, and that's the very essence of
defending her free speech.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. And that's kind of what the battle in cancel culture is.
She's not the only one. People flipped on Vince Vaughn for merely talking to Donald Trump at a sporting event.
Yeah. When he's literally come out and he spoke on the matter and said, look, I've only endorsed one candidate in my life, and it was Ron Paul. Because I've openly been a libertarian.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't get involved in politics much. Hell, we were just talking about it the other day about Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And the fact that, or not Donnie Wahlberg,
Mark
Wahlberg, who comes out and he just is like, look, I speak from a platform of privilege. I'm a Hollywood actor. I've got millions of dollars. I don't know what it's like to live like a normal person. I can't speak on these issues. And it's like, look, you can call them idiotic, you can call them stupid, or say you need to learn.
That way
but
more.
I respect somebody who's willing to say, no, I don't follow it. It doesn't really affect me much because I'm out of that tier, and I don't need to be asked questions on that. And I'm like, that's exactly the right kind of perspective. Because where in the hell did we start in this country looking up to Hollywood celebrities for our moral compass? What in the hell? It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous that this is the whole reason the cancel culture even where it all stems from. And we have to fight back and speak out on it, because Gina Carano is using her freedom of speech, and she's allowed to think these thoughts. She's not said one thing that's vitriolic or hate-filled.
Well, nothing worth losing her job over. I mean, it's stupid.
No.
It's basically, if you have a differing opinion than us, you don't deserve to work.
Well, and I love that's how the cowards and the bullies speak.
Yeah,
they literally will tweet heck, and they'll tweet at Star Wars or at Disney, and they'll say, "I hope you know who's working for you."
I hope they're not on. I hope they're not on the next season or whatever. Like they're trying to get her fired.
Yeah. And it's like,
and that puts Disney and it puts them it puts them under pressure. I mean, I think that's what happened with Sean Gunn and or James Gunn. I'm sorry,
James Gunn. Yeah.
And they put put basically his bosses under pressure to where that's the only option they're left with. It's either we can lose millions of fans or look like we're supporting sexism or racism or whatever ism you want to come up with, or we have to fire the guy.
But I think that is the bigger story here. I think the bigger story is, for one, that should prove to you that any multinational corporation that has billions of dollars doesn't give two craps about the cause that you're fighting.
No.
They care about the money in your pocket that you're willing to give them.
Yeah.
They will say and spout whatever message it is that is the cultural zeitgeist just to get money out of your pocket and into theirs. And so ultimately what this really comes down to is if corporations actually had a pair and they stood up and stopped it, such as, I will give credit right now at least, to Spotify, and most of that is because they paid up front freaking Joe Rogan like $200 million to get a deal with him.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting here like, no, we didn't just invest $200 million in a guy and we're going to turn around and cancel him because he said something that pissed a few people off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is exactly
that's
what
who
we
Joe
need
Rogan
them to do.
is, though. I'm just saying, you're paying that money for the controversy.
Exactly.
For the guy that's going to say the things that piss people off.
And all the people that are getting mad about people jumping from Twitter to Parler or all these other social media sites that exclaim, free speech, and they want it on their platform, and people just want to be able to say what they feel or hear. It's like that's the reason you have that gap and that jump is because people are tired of listening to the echo chambers that we're already in.
Yep.
Which is, we have to have this narrative or otherwise you're out. It's like, fine, I'll get out. And the rest of us that are being removed, we'll go do our own thing.
Yep.
And then they try to come in there and say, no, you can't do that. That's wrong.
It's almost like they're mad that there's somewhere for you to go.
Yes.
I mean, it's like you're either going to stay in here and bicker back and forth with me, but they get
Until
mad
you
when you
believe
leave.
it. Yeah. It's like you better come over to my side, or you don't deserve to live.
Yep.
You don't deserve a moment of speech unless you believe in what I believe.
You don't deserve to act in a show that has nothing to do with any of those politics. That's what gets me. It's like she's paid to do a job. I don't care what we have to listen to everybody else spout their political and personal beliefs and not say a word, but it's like because hers is different and matters. No, her beliefs don't come out in the show because who she is in real life and who she is on the show are two different people.
Right.
As long as she acts and does a good job, that's all I care about.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's ultimately what this is all about. We got to keep bringing it up in the headlines anytime we see it, just like with Chris Pratt and the attackers that were all over him. And you have to speak more for just especially the non-Hollywood
Everybody
A-listers.
attacks Chris Pratt.
I know. Y'all have said his name twice, and I've got cold chills each time. Like I'm telling you, there's something there.
Just to get a little shiver up your leg.
Oh, him and those Raptors. God.
That blue one, man,
Just,
it gets me every
Blue.
time.
Every time I see him in that Raptor, I think of old school. You're my boy, Blue. Even
You're
though
my boy, Blue.
Even though Blue in Jurassic World's a girl, but still.
That's true.
You're my boy,
That's true.
Blue.
But no, I definitely, it's like, look, even especially Gina Carano started her fan base with The Mandalorian, got tons of support until these views came out. Now they're wanting to trash her. She's not a huge A-lister yet. We got to keep that from happening. We want her to be an A-lister. We got to keep her from being attacked.
Yeah, because
It's-
Haywire was a terrible movie. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie.
And that's the thing. Criticize her work.
Yeah.
If she
That's fine.
deserves to be
Yeah.
criticized for her work, that's what we used
And
to
I mean,
do
and
here.
she is good in The Mandalorian. I haven't seen Haywire, but I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean she's going to be good in everything. I
No.
mean, it,
Yeah,
it
no.
depends on
No.
direction and all
and
kinds
story
of things.
and
Yeah.
character,
So,
absolutely.
Um,
So if she's got bad work,
Yeah.
don't defend her work. But she shouldn't be fired for her opinions and her beliefs.
No.
Simple as that. All right, guys.
What's next?
We're
well, I
moving
think
on.
I'm going to go home and watch Interstellar on my iPhone is what I'm going to do.
You
Oh,
are?
nice.
Well, that's just a slap in the face.
I don't know. Nolan says he doesn't care.
Look at you in these segues
I'm
tonight.
just saying.
He's good at it tonight.
He is, man.
Man.
He's seeing him coming.
Well, he was mad that I didn't provide a segue for the review, so I thought I'd make up for it.
Well, you're on a roll.
I would say
Yeah.
double time.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad to know that I don't care. I mean, if I want to watch it on my phone, I would have done it whether Nolan approved or not. But I'm glad that Nolan's not so high and mighty that he can't accept any form of media outside, which I never thought he did. Yeah, obviously he's an advocate for
theatrical experiences, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I never thought Nolan was vehemently against, like, you can't watch those movies on anything but IMAX.
Yeah, no, and I think it's kind of reminds me of the Scorsese incident about a year ago when it was like he was saying Marvel movies are like theme parks.
Yeah.
And I will say, even we trashed him when he came out. It was like, well, your movies haven't made me cry, and I agree. We made some valid points, but I think this is on par with that because it's like so many times these, artists get kind of misconstrued for being passionate towards something, and then it's like their words get twisted by other fans who are like, no, Nolan says this is how it should be. and it's like, we'll be the first people to step up and defend Christopher Nolan for taking artistic choices. Although he did say he got a lot of flack for the sound in Tenet.
I'm telling you.
Well, he kind of deserved
It kind of
that
takes
one.
you out of the experience.
It does.
I hope he learned a lesson and knows that you got to at least be able to hear your characters.
dialogue.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny because we all thought, well, this is IMAX.
I really thought
the
that
pooch.
Stony Brook
after we
was just
talked
being
about
crappy.
it, we all agreed there's instances in Interstellar where you can't hear some of the things
Well,
that are being
it was
said.
a universal criticism. Like, critics everywhere said that Tenet was a fine movie, but you couldn't hear half of it. So it wasn't just like we thought. It was just the crappy Stony Brook
Well,
theater.
maybe when they release it on 4K Blu-ray,
Next
they
month.
can remaster the sound a little bit
Let's hope.
and get that turned down a little bit.
And again, he I think the way he brought up this whole topic, we're talking about it coming out on Blu-ray, and he even said the reason why he doesn't, he's not necessarily against you watching it on a tablet or a phone, is because he knows that the first way that you could see it and enjoy it was on the big screen. And that's always been, he just kind of, I think, dug his feet in the sand a little bit deeper and saying, look, no, I've been adamantly honest and upfront about what it is I support. And he's like, I want a major film release to hit the theaters first, hit the big screen.
I
you go
have
pay your
his,
ticket price. Yeah, go
I can
read the
it,
quote.
because I do. Well, do you have a problem with people seeing Dunkirk on my phone or whatever? No, I don't. But the reason I don't is because it's put into these big theaters as its primary form or its initial distribution.
Yep.
And the experience trickles down to the extent where if you have an iPad and you're watching a movie, you carry with you the knowledge and your understanding of what that cinematic experience would be, and you extrapolate that. So when you watch a TV show on your iPad, your brain is in a completely different mindset. And I get that.
I do, and I understand that. I can actually, I agree with that. I mean, it's just like watching YouTube
Well,
on my phone.
when I watch Lord of the Rings, like I do, like I get what he's saying, because even watching it on my beautiful 4K TV with surround sound, it's great. But I always remember back
theatrical experience.
to seeing Return of the King in theaters. Like I still have that.
And
vivid
if you're going to watch
experience.
it on a phone, you should watch it on a Dolby Vision,
Dolby Vision.
iPhone 12
wow.
Pro.
There it is.
That's how you should watch it if
That
you're
right
going to
there.
watch it.
And what would that? How do you even get a phone like that?
You spend an exorbitant amount of money.
Huh.
Well,
I think the only phone out right now is the iPhone 12 Pro that has that, right? Dolby Vision?
That has Dolby Vision. Well,
I think it's
the
the
only
one that
one that
has-
shoots in Dolby Vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's, that,
Which,
it's not
I
the only
mean,
one that can display it, but it's the only one that shoots it.
That's brand new though. That just came out. So you adopted that tech pretty early then, right?
Damn, he's good.
Oh my gosh, he
swear.
is so
He
good.
is good.
He is killing it
Get
tonight.
on it tonight.
Well, I think that just
was
rolls
saying,
us
yeah.
right
Just go ahead.
into our Vices Open. Let's get to it, peeps.
Keith, I'm just going to go ahead and say, if we ever, like in our lifetime, receive money for this, you should be the first one to get paid for your performance on episode 296.
Oh man,
There it is.
You should get paid.
Okay,
296.
Is that this episode?
Hey,
Yep.
maybe
We're
we
getting
could
marching
be
closer
4
to
away
that
to
300.
profit. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe
4 episodes
four
away.
4 episodes away till we hit profit.
There's something about the 300th that you know that we don't.
I wish there was. I sadly don't. Maybe there will be a miracle from God.
The battle
no.
of the 300, it
True.
could be. our
All the
battle.
odds were stacked against
All
them,
the odds.
and they prevailed.
Yep.
Well,
We've had the
not
odds
them,
stacked
but their
against us for a
ideology
while.
prevailed.
That's true.
Alrighty, guys. So we were just talking about new tech, and that absolutely is what our Vices is about tonight.
Because
It's about indulging a little bit. It's about
we get new
jumping
tech,
the gun a little too early, maybe.
We get new tech every year, but I feel like there's some years that are just way more significant than others. And
True.
of course, 2020 is one of those with new phones and new gaming systems, and the fact that we're all still struggling to be able to go out and do anything. So some of the only options we have are our new tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're kind of in a position where when we get that new tech, being early adopters, sometimes things don't go as smoothly. And so it can bring us into the gripes and the complaints about having those new adoptions.
They update when they need to, and they tend to not feel those pains because they just get, whatever's on the market that's been there for a while. But when you're people like us who love the latest and greatest, and you want the newest item, and you buy it day one, and it crashes or it overheats or bricks.
Oh gosh, that's the worst.
Then you're just completely pissed that you paid upwards of $500 for something that crapped out on you,
or $1,000,
or $1,000.
Yeah. If it's one of these new phones,
yeah.
they're $1,000 now.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And that's not even the max.
No,
the max is like
1,200.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like we know that. Yes, obviously. I mean, think about it. It was funny because even with the iPhone 12 Pro coming out, there were a lot of these reviews, even just kind of flashing back. I think they always flash back now to like the first one. But it's so funny because you look at the original iPhone, even the original Apple Watch, and again, these are all tech. I'm not, I'm kind of lumping them all in the same category. But it could be any tech company. But the fact is
Samsung.
Yeah, I don't know much about Samsung.
Look at the people that adopted the Fold.
There you go.
Day
being
one,
the first generation.
They were peeling
the
screen layer off of it and
they
ruining
didn't.
it. Like
that was a bad design.
Yeah,
they
it was.
literally had to tell people, don't peel this off. And it's like, why didn't you say that to begin with?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'm going to
Like
do.
if you peel this layer off, it completely destroys the phone. And most people's reaction when they see a film on their phone is to peel it off.
Peel it off.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because they were talking about how, a lot of those were gateway products. They're just to get you, dip your toe in the water,
gateway laptop.
A gateway laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about gateway drugs.
No,
that's where I thought he was going.
It was that was the brand. It was and actually was not a bad little laptop.
Who'd they get bought by?
I don't know.
I think HP.
Okay, that makes
yeah,
because they're crappy.
Back when they were Hewlett Packard.
Yep.
Now they're just HP.
Hewlett Packard.
Or they might have been bought by Compaq.
I think Compaq was bought by HP. HP is definitely the big dog.
Yeah,
they're like the father company.
I like Lenovo.
And then Lenovo's separate. I mean, we're getting into
there we go.
We're just getting
down the rabbit hole.
The whole point of this Vices topic was when you are early adopters and you have this vice.
I think it's more like
have
the
to have
vice
the first
is being an early adopter. Like, do you
being
buy it
addicted
day
to that,
one or do you wait to watch and see if there's anything that needs to be fixed or any bugs that need to be things that need to be ironed out before you buy?
Logically, I know it's better to wait until they've released patches and ironed everything out. Even if it's just just 2 months, it's better than day one.
Yep.
But I really want it day one.
That's right. So then it's a vice.
It's like
something
it is a vice.
You got to have. You're biting the bullet on it.
That
Really.
PS5 I now own. I love it. And
that we all three own.
Yeah. I could have waited a few months till everything was ironed out. And I know plenty of people are like, I couldn't get one, but that's okay. I know when I do get it, at least I'll have all the bugs worked out. But I was like,
that any system like that, there's
always,
not been one single system released.
Yes.
That's
that
what
didn't have
happens
problems.
with these.
It's part of the adventure.
That's what happens with these devices. Okay.
Oh,
but yeah,
wow.
And
that tops.
That was a bad dad joke.
That tops my dad joke.
That was a dad
And while
joke.
there's plenty of, and yes, there have been a few PS5s that have bricked or overheated. That they have been fairly rare cases.
Yeah.
And the fact is, while there's plenty of people that want to knock it, even the Xbox has had similar issues, and you see Xbox fans knocking the PlayStation and PlayStation fans.
Right.
They've honestly done better than. I mean, I still remember the Red Ring of Death. And that plagued the
and here's the
360
thing.
for
Actually,
many years.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my next question to you all is how much of this is ratcheted up because of something like social media and Twitter? Because I know Sony has reached out to a lot of the people on Twitter who've complained and said, hey, DM us, because it's almost like it's not a widespread issue, and they want to make sure that news isn't getting out there to say all these units are bricking. They want to get down to the bottom line of what it is, because they even had the one reviewer on YouTube who specifically had his reviewing unit failed, and Sony shipped him a new one immediately.
Yeah.
But anytime you hear that right away, it could spell doom.
And also to point out to that same person, they got their PlayStation that bricked. They got that for free. to begin with.
Yes, it was a
that
review
was
unit.
That was a review
Right.
unit, so it's not like they wasted money on it.
Right.
It was given to them to do the review. So,
But yeah, I do think the internet and social media has made the world a smaller place. So anytime you hear of these horror stories, it spreads fast.
Yes.
And then everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, these PlayStations all over the nation are just crapping out, when really it's just a handful of instances where this has happened.
Right. Well, you hope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other part about being an early adopter is it's like I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
You know, social media makes it great to kind of tackle these issues right out of the gate, but so much of it is widespread immediately that you're like, oh crap, do I have a bad one? You know, I mean, iPhones.
you worry, yeah.
Yeah, iPhones are the same way. It's like when a new OS comes out every fall.
I was gonna say,
it's like you immediately get
sometimes-
people who are like, "Oh, I don't have any cell coverage because I just updated to the latest OS. Wait a few days."
Yep.
And some of those I agree with. That I can maybe
Yeah,
wait a little longer.
I was going to say, sometimes it's not just a rare occurrence. Sometimes when you launch Big Sur and it just craps out nationwide, it's like, that's completely the company's fault.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Steve Jobs would have had heads rolling that day.
Yeah.
So,
And the fact that it's a launch day of an OS and your server goes down.
Yeah.
Come on, Apple, think different.
oh,
Yeah.
he would
Let's get it going.
There would have been heads rolling at Apple that day.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
But no, I completely agree. I just think that overall, it's an issue of being an early adopter, but at the same time, sometimes it is that joy. The joy outweighs the complications of dealing with the early hassles.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, yeah, I mean, because I think we went for probably about a day and a half complaining, or not complaining, but talking about like certain
Hiccups.
tweaks
Yeah.
or hiccups, even things we wanted to see to improve upon, and that we're hoping that they change. And I think all of us kind of, at the end of the day, we're like, well, it is day one.
Yeah. Well, heck,
so
It's day one, and every problem that we've had it's fixable. I mean,
Yes,
it's an inconvenience
You know
to
they're
have to
gonna patch it.
re-download a game
Yeah.
Right.
or whatever. But once we've done that, everything has. I'm assuming for all of us, because I haven't had any problems.
I haven't.
Everything's working smoothly.
Yep.
But again, I feel like when you have something like social media, though, even if the problem is small and not as widespread, those people that are experiencing that problem, it's hell for them because they
Yes.
just spent $500 of their hard-earned money
Oh, yeah.
on a machine that doesn't work.
Yep.
But because of social media, we can get the word out to Sony and to Microsoft and to whoever, Apple or whatever,
Apple, yeah.
to get it out there
Samsung,
quicker
yeah.
so that they will do something about it. Because if you remember the days of, before social media
the red
was
ring
big,
was
you-
definitely
you had to call Microsoft
Yes.
and sit on hold for an hour or 2 hours
to get a box
Be-
shipped to you.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, it was, and then of course on the phone they tell you that it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Well, what game are you playing, or do you have it in a in a case,
Yeah.
or enclosed space?
It's all these
or-
mixed messages
all-
that
yes,
that,
it's all your fault.
Yep.
We don't want to do anything about it. But now with social media, because the outcry does seem so big, they have to do something
holds
about
them
it.
accountable to have
exactly
to
right.
fix it.
They got to do it
Yep.
quick. Yeah.
And I do think that's a positive
Yes.
aspect of having the word break on social media.
Yep.
But I also think it is one of those things where even now I'm seeing article after article day in and day out about the Series X or the PS5, and I'm just like, how many of these are either rehashes of what we heard,
Already,
or they're trying
yeah.
to keep the headline
up,
going
yeah.
because it keeps people clicking because they're new consoles. Same with a new phone or a new OS. It's like anything new is going to have that traffic, and if you've got the big news that people want to hear and you can generate that traffic, then it stays in
Yeah.
the news
Yeah.
longer.
Well.
So it is a question of like how much of this is exploited and blown out of proportion versus, okay, what are these legitimate threats against? I mean, I just sent y'all the article today. IGN
Where
releases
they've already
that
released a
they're going to
patch.
have an update.
Yeah.
And so I think it's one of those things where, yeah, you
I
just,
have read that the update doesn't fix the problems. But
yeah.
I
Well, I was
read
going to say it's a,
that.
it's a performance upgrade.
It doesn't fix
Doesn't
the
fix the-
download
the-
queue problem.
right.
But they said it might fix
some of the data issues that you have, it
some
doesn't
of the
fix
other
that.
problems.
So
But-
again, it is part and parcel, the blessing and curse of having and being an early adopter.
Yeah.
With these products, it's like it's great to have the new fresh thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's like who doesn't get a new phone and want to show it to everybody or show them the new features?
Yeah.
And hey, look at
Unless
this
you get
new
an
camera.
iPhone, because then you're kind of disappointed. I mean, to be honest with you, this thing it looks exactly the same as
It
the
does.
iPhone 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's got the metal, bezel. It's got antenna gate. It's still got the antennas built into the side where you can't put your hand in a certain spot or the antenna
service
goes dead.
goes down.
Yeah, I mean they just rehashed the iPhone 4 or 5 with a new
It is
screen.
interesting because
So-
They
no
said,
doubt
new design. I'm like, that's the
It's
design
not
you
a new
had,
design.
Like
Yeah.
3 designs ago.
it's 3 designs, but because it has the little notch
yeah.
Yeah,
screen on it, it's like, oh,
and
that's
a
a new design.
ceramic screen.
Yeah.
You know,
And here's the
whoopee
thing.
do.
I mean, I'm all for, I do. Obviously, that's a different topic about striking innovation again and hoping people stay innovative. And I'll give that to Samsung about the Fold, or even Motorola trying to bring back the Razr, and it has its screen. And again, they haven't proven to be effective enough to be game changers. They're unique. People, I think, gravitate towards some of those things. And some of them can make perfect use out of it. But, I think obviously Apple is in and even with game consoles or any technology, you get a big enough audience and someone who you have enough people who buy it because it is a certain way. It's kind of that BlackBerry mentality of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And BlackBerry never changed up their process, and the times left them. And that's what happens. And it's like iPhone's obviously got such a corner on the market. But I think one of those things is like, yeah, of course, I'm with you. I asked my brother, he got the new iPhone, and he was just as disappointed. He's like, not disappointed, he just was
It's
indifferent.
fast. I
He
mean,
was
it
indifferent.
works.
Yeah, he
But
didn't, he
again,
just
it's
didn't
like
care.
this
Well, and
isn't
that's-
nothing special. This
I
isn't worth
remember
$1,000.
Once
Right.
upon a time when every new generation of iPhone, I was like, I wanted to have the new one.
Yeah.
Because it was, and I remember just when they announced the iPhone 12s this year, I did not have that feeling at all.
No.
Yeah.
It is one of the first times ever where I was like, I don't want or need that.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly like the phone I already have, just a little bit. The specs are faster,
Yep.
obviously. And
But
I mean,
and it's funny because I
it
think
wasn't
they
a big
are
enough-
shifting. Because
it
my
wasn't a big
brother
enough upgrade.
updated from, I think it was like the 6.
I
or
had
no,
an 8.
An 8. So it's like when you
And the
do,
8 was way prettier.
Really?
The,
Yeah.
the 8 with the glass back.
Yeah, that's
and
what I still
and
got.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's I mean, I was really. We traded in, and that's the only reason I got a new one was because we had upgrades, and and you got a really good deal if you were trading in a phone.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did that. But man, when I had to package my iPhone 8 up and
Yeah.
send it back, it hurt.
You like
Because I'm just like, man, this is so much more sophisticated and
Looking
professional looking phone than what they just
Well, that's what
sent
I
me.
like about because I like the steel green that they added with it, which I don't think they have now. Now they have
No.
the blue.
the blue.
It's
Yeah,
They changed it.
and I'm
just
like, they
subtly
keep changing things so much because they want to have something different. But I'm
to
like,
notify them, make people know when they see it. They know
Yeah.
it's the new one.
Yeah.
But that was the thing too, is the unique look that iPhones used to have each generation is kind of what made people look at it and say, "Oh, that must be the new one." Whereas now I can't tell if you see an 11 out, I can't tell if an 11 is that much different than a 12.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell
This
if
is a
you,
little
if you
boxier.
follow. Yeah.
the 12 is a little boxier.
I mean, if you follow Apple,
Yeah.
you know. Like I can tell.
Yeah.
But your average Joe's not going to be able to be
No,
like,
they
"That's an
don't know.
iPhone 7," or
they just
don't
know it's
even
an
know.
iPhone.
Yeah. But I agree. I think it's to the point now where they're almost expecting people. Oh yeah, I gotta
It's
hold
exactly like the iPhone 5. Look
Yeah.
at it.
it up. Yeah.
See the curved edges? and
Oh yeah, I
all
gotta
that?
hold it
See,
up to
that's
the.
so much nicer.
Yeah, I gotta
like
hold
the
them
curve.
both up to the.
But
cameras.
I like the curve. Yeah, the curved
Well,
edges.
together. Y'all gotta put them together.
together. We can't fit them all in there.
There you go. Keith can.
Keith's is all nice and round and
Yep.
smooth, and
There it
this
is.
is like all sharp edges. People even said if you don't put it in a case,
Yeah.
it actually hurts your hand because the edges are so sharp.
Right.
Wow.
Like it just doesn't feel
Really?
good. Yeah.
See, I like.
It's
I
See,
like
I
the.
kind of. I actually like the thin edges.
Oh, I don't actually. I like the.
See, the round edge
edges.
is way better in your hand.
Yeah,
See-
yeah. It feel the
Really?
This is
Yeah.
mine is way more comfortable. I
Without a
agree.
case on it,
Really?
it sucks.
It's
Man.
it's just very very sleek and smooth, whereas this is.
I kinda- I
boxy.
don't
But
know,
it's 20% faster.
Yes.
The insides are different. Yeah. And here's the thing.
Yeah, the
We-
insides are different.
We know that
I
has
don't look
really
at the
been their
insides.
big improvement.
Yeah.
And I think I think Apple's stifle and innovation is picking up maybe more on the internals.
Yeah.
And I hope that's where it's going at least because at the end of the day, I mean, I think they're now. My brother was kind of like, we're just upgrading because my phones are old and they're
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I've dropped it, or the kids have handled it and it cracked the glass. And it's like I think now Apple is thinking more long term. I don't think they're thinking of the days where people were upgrading
Well, they know
every single
they're
generation.
so expensive now that people can't upgrade every
Yes.
single generation.
And
so
you have your faithful few that are on the payment plans. They'll get the
that
latest
will.
and greatest.
They'll trade in their phone and get the new one, and then next year trade that one in and get the new one. But at the end of the day, they know people are hanging on to their phones for more than a single year now. So yes, they're trying to make
Yeah.
phones with longevity.
But not us. we're the early adopters.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's what it is. We accept our vice. We live with it. We take the pains, but we also take the glories with it as well. All right, guys, I think that is going to do it for this episode of the Red Moon Podcast.
Yeah.
We hope you all enjoyed. As always, right there at the bottom of your screen, you can check us out at redmoonproductions.com and email us at rmpodcast@redmoonproductions.com.
I like it.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do too, Keith?
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all both like it because I like it too. rmpodcast@redmoonproductions.com. Yet again, we did it. We went a whole episode without mentioning the movie we're going to review next week. And I don't even know if we've talked about it, guys.
Wow.
So I think we're going to have a little discussion here and figure it out on air. Or no, we did talk about it.
We talked about maybe doing jujitsu.
Yeah, I think we're
do
going to do
Oh, yeah, we got to find
jujitsu.
that. Yeah.
It's on
I-
it's on our screener website.
I didn't. I looked last night. and didn't see it on there.
It's on. I saw it today.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Okay.
see it last night, but it's on there now. So.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we know we got one. Okay, so jujitsu.
I will say I did see. I
Nicolas
watched
Cage.
Greenland,
Yes.
and I will go ahead and just put it out there. We don't have to review it.
Give it
I
an
want you guys to see it though.
Give
I'm
it
gonna
an
watch
informal review, though.
I'll give it an informal review, and I'll review it at 3 out of 4 stars.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I will say the only thing that took the full star away from me was the end of the film. There was a moment where they could have ended the film and it would have been gold, but they kept going with it. And it's literally maybe 5 minutes more.
Oh, really?
If they would have just ended it, and when you all watch it,
We'll
you'll see
think the same
exactly
thing.
what I'm talking about.
Now I'm
But
intrigued.
it is not a bad movie. It's well acted. It's very realistic as far as like it's not Armageddon. It's not Deep Impact. It's not anything just stupid. Like they're not going up trying to destroy an asteroid. It's just pure. Scientists thought they had it right. They didn't. They got it wrong. It's gonna hit us. It's the end of the world. This family has to do what they got to do to survive. It's
Okay.
very, very realistic. The things that they go through and the things that they experience to try to get to safety.
Yeah.
The idea of where they're going, obviously, it's Greenland. For safety is very real. It's not like like if you go there, it's paradise. It's still everything gets wiped out.
Where they're all getting on arcs.
No, it's nothing like that. It's I'm going to be honest with you, I was very surprised.
Yeah.
It was a movie that I was wanting to watch and laugh at,
And it
but
wasn't.
it ended up being a pretty legit movie. It's not the best. It's not the best.
It does have
but
laughable moments.
it does have I wouldn't even say they're laughable. There's moments that you just feel like, okay, I would have done that differently.
Okay.
Or maybe or you even kind of think, well, why would the government do it that way?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But still, it's for the most part,
Well,
it's not
Why does the government do half the
half the stuff they do.
Maybe that
Yeah.
is more believable than we
It's
think.
it's very cool. They come home to Kentucky, to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh.
So that's in the movie too.
that
But,
gives it a star right there.
Well, yeah, of course.
Just like if you have Jennifer Lawrence, it takes a star away.
yeah. Well, I mean, what is her name? What's
Marina
the
Baccarin?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
I knew she was in it.
I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't know
she's
she
in
was
it.
in it. Mm.
You know, Gerard Butler's not half bad. There's a couple of, there's a good backstory, like kind of a story as to why they're separated
Okay.
at the beginning of the movie, but then this whole chain of events
Brings them back
rebuilds
together.
their relationship.
Okay.
And
I will watch it.
It's very good.
I will
Yeah.
watch it. I will definitely check it out. I know
Yeah.
you were raving
I'm
about
not gonna
it.
sit here and say, "Oh, it's so good. You guys got to check
But
it
it's
out."
worth the watch
You will be
based on the
surprised.
trailers.
You will be surprised that
Okay.
it's not crap. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's not Geostorm.
That's honestly exactly what I
Yes.
thought it was going to be on par with.
No.
Alrighty, guys.
It's intense.
I think so. Jiu-Jitsu is next week, though, and
I want
that's
to see
Nicolas
that
Cage.
so bad.
So
Yes.
we're going to
Yes.
review that.
Is it
next
right on the?
week.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it wasn't
it's
on
on
there
there.
the other
Show
day.
that. Show that. Keith.
No, I won't reveal our screener site.
Oh, I
No,
thought
no, we
you
can't
talking
show
about the movie.
No,
poster.
I pulled up the screener
Okay.
website.
Where we get the screeners
Well,
from.
then we don't need to reveal that
Yeah.
because that's
that would be highly illegal.
Well, we have a special login that we have to put in that
Yeah.
are
Our
I
Red-
can-
use
our
our
Red
Red
Moon
Moon
pull
login.
up.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can pull up the.
The movie poster.
Yeah.
I mean, is it interesting? Does it have Nicolas Cage?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason
And
we're watching.
the poster looks like exactly what you're
Could
Well,
you-
I'm
expecting.
not
Could
gonna
you
lie.
read the synopsis?
Well, and I truthfully thought
That would be even better.
I was gonna say if it wasn't jujitsu, I think we could
Okay,
do.
well, first of all, let's
we could do Vanguard with Jackie
let's
Chan.
pull up
Vanguard.
the movie poster there. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
And I can read the synopsis.
You need to read the synopsis just so
Okay.
people know what this is about before they get into it.
Let's see here.
This is the movie.
It should
we're
make you
reviewing
look
next
forward
week.
to the review, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
knowing what it's
I'm
about.
pretty excited to review this film. Let's see.
Oh, I thought you had
IMDb didn't have the synopsis.
They don't
They
have
don't
a
have
synopsis.
it?
Let me,
Oh,
let me
just
pull
Google
up-
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't need to know. Just seeing Nicolas Cage
It's
on the
Nicolas
front cover
Cage
with a
fighting
samurai
aliens with jujitsu.
Basically.
sword. This is gonna be fantastic.
And it has that one terrible actor that's in Captain America. What's the guy's name that is like the guy that leads Captain's team?
Oh, I can't even remember.
Like second in command to Captain America.
Let's
I can't
see.
think of his name.
Oh gosh. I'm
Every
not sure.
6 years, an ancient order of jujitsu fighters joins forces to battle a vicious race of alien invaders. But when a celebrated war hero, Nicolas Cage, goes down in defeat, the fate of the planet and mankind hangs in the balance. Oh, well, maybe that wasn't him then, since he goes down in defeat. So, maybe
Wait.
it's someone
Oh, it
else.
just gives away that he dies?
No. I think that was just means someone else dies and he has to step up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Well, that's
I
fine.
just assumed that the war hero was him.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
know if they kill Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
beginning of this movie, I'll give it 1 star and I won't watch the rest of it.
It's actually gotten very mixed reviews with people who like appreciate. Well, here's the thing, because people
Mixed
appreciate
reviews
that
with
they
drunk
know
people and high
they,
people.
Well, they know what it is.
That's right.
So there's people that say, "Is it
It's
a
a good
good
trip.
movie?" They say it's fun. Like they said, like no, it's not a great movie, but
Hey,
it's a lot of fun to watch.
We all went in thinking John Wick was all it was going to be,
yeah.
and John Wick is freaking amazing
Oh,
and
yeah.
has launched a great. So
It's a good point.
jujitsu could
Could be the
that
next
amazing.
John Wick.
I,
gonna
I
be
don't.
4 of 'em.
I don't think so, but
Oh no, it could
It's
be.
got
There could be
Nicolas
4 of
Cage
them
in it.
though.
I wanna watch it.
6 years later.
All right, guys,
I think
that's
we're
gonna
done.
do it.
I think we're done.
So jujitsu, check it out next week. Our review on the Red Moon Podcast every Tuesday night here at 9:00 Eastern on YouTube and Facebook. Check out our past episodes and other podcast shows on redmoonproductions.com. Until next time, I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
and
Keith Cheatham.
so next time we'll see Nicolas Cage.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.